So we do have some kind of logistical information, policy information to go over, and that's what I'll start with. And as a reminder, this is information that has stayed the same for quite a few years, but it's always important to remind everybody that the only reporting requirements for Ohio Department of Education and Ohio Department of Job and Family Service licensed preschool programs are for those who have the ECE funded children and children receiving preschool special education services. And the only requirement for the data is those 10 required learning progressions. And that's the data that has to be submitted into one or both of the warehouses, EMIS or EAS. If you're not sure which area to report to, we do have resources online, or you can always reach out to us or the ECE or the PSE team to learn more. However, all programs are allowed to use the early learning assessment. It's only these programs that have the funded children in these two funding streams that have to actually report the data to the state in either EMIS or EAS. The assessment windows remain the same each year. We have not changed the dates for the assessment windows. So for spring, it started on February 15th, and the end, May 14th, is right around the window, right coming up around the corner, right? We are in the end of that assessment window. If you're going to have a summer session and you'll have children attending your program, we do recommend that you continue to monitor their growth and development, because that's best practice to see how children are doing during those summer times. So you see the dates on the window there. Now the reporting windows, though, of when scores are due in EMIS and EAS, those are actually determined by those systems. So those dates change every year. And sometimes we even push the dates back or have to make changes based on what we see happening with the data coming in, or if there are any changes to that system. So the dates as they stand now, scores are due in EMIS by August 9th, and they're due in EAS by June 30th. If you happen to do summer assessment, you do not submit those scores. So as a reminder, the assessment window is that period of time when the teachers are collecting data. They're observing their children, they're providing high quality learning experiences, they're communicating with their children and encouraging that rich oral language and play. A lot of play is happening in the classroom, and they're monitoring their children. And they're taking all that information and they're making a decision as far as how they might rate or score a child when they're looking at the skills, knowledges, and behaviors, or the SKBs that are part of the early learning assessment. Then they take that data and they enter it in either the bridge form or the online Ready for Kindergarten system, the KReady system. We'll cover both of those here in just a few minutes. The reporting window, though, is that period of time when the programs have to enter the data into EMIS or EAS. Now, since assessment is ongoing and connected to the teaching and learning process, we as a state do require that assessment data is reported twice each year, again, for the ECE and the PSE funded children. But we strongly recommend that teachers are collecting data throughout the year, using it in more of a formative assessment manner to really monitor growth and provide on-time supports for children as needed. And that will give them a sense of the child's progress through the entire year. Here we are in the spring window. As a reminder, February 15th through May 14th, teachers were collecting data based on their observations and interactions with children. They're determining ratings, and they're entering those ratings in either the bridge form or the KReady system. Because it's the end of the school year, we recommend and encourage that teachers who are using the KReady system enter their data no later than June 3rd. So the assessment window ends on May 14th, but they have a little bit of time where they can take some time to analyze evidence collected during that window, make decisions on ratings, and enter their ratings in the system by June 3rd. Then as a data manager, which many of you are data managers, I did see a lot of you are also EMIS coordinators, so you probably do all of this. You collect the data and you enter it into your reporting system. So this is really important for you to know for the end of the school year. The last day that a data manager can generate the score report in the KReady system is June 28th. Again, you need to be sure that you run your report in KReady no later than June 28th. And then you'll need to report that data into either EMIS or EAS by those dates that are established by the system. So what should you do right now? We highly recommend that data has been entered for each preschool student in the bridge form or the KReady system. Now, because teachers still have some time, there may be gaps in the data entry in the KReady system or the bridge form, and we completely understand that. But it's a good time for a checkpoint, and I'll show you how you can do that here in just a moment. So it looks like most people are using the KReady system, which is excellent because the KReady system, although it's still young in its use, it's only been around for a few years now, it's going through constant updates every year, and we're really excited to see where it goes over the next year to 2 years in as far as just user functionality and report features. So we like to hear from you, and we'll be excited to share any updates with you in the next year to 2 years for improvements for this system. And the reason why I'm saying that now is because for the bridge form, which is merely an Excel document with formulas, that bridge form, we are going to transition away from it. And so if you are currently using the bridge form and you have not started using KReady, we would encourage you to get comfortable with KReady and start using it in the fall, because we are going to transition away from using the bridge form and just strictly use the KReady system. So real quickly though, if you're using the bridge form, I'm going to just go live briefly to show you, number one, where you can find it, and then as a reminder, show you that it is an Excel document. So on this page right here, we're at the Ohio Department of Education's page for the Ohio Early Learning Assessment. And in our quick links, we have ELA for administrators. If you scroll down, got to keep scrolling down. We've got a lot of forms here. We have the Early Learning Assessment Bridge form. And when you click on that, it will download. I'm in Chrome, so it downloads right over here on the left-hand side. And then when I open that, here's the bridge form. The directions are on here, so that's very helpful. But I always like to just remind everybody that there are 3 different tabs. On the first tab, that's where teachers will enter information. And then whatever is populated in here will automatically convert over to the data manager's report, whether you're using it for EAS or EMIS, okay? So that's all I'm gonna show you for that, because most people use KReady, and that's what I wanna spend the majority of our time on here in just a moment. Okay, back to this. So I'm hoping, can you see this now? Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Great, I did it right. Okay, so again, when the teachers give you their bridge form, just make sure that on your tab, there's a score for every learning progression. Now, if you're using the KReady system, there's quite a few different reports, actually 2 specific reports that you would use for the early learning assessment. So the most reliable way to verify that all students have a complete score is to look at the SKB report. You can look at that SKB report and you can see whether or not the children have data entered for all of those SKBs. Remember, it's PSE and ECE funded children, and they must have a rating for 24 SKBs in order to get an overall score for the 10 required learning progressions. So we want to make sure that teachers enter new ratings or resubmit unchanged ratings in the KReady system for the learning progression report to accurately reflect current data for the spring.